I've done now landscape, so I can pull the inks out into trees. If I use a little whisk, I'll get a splatter pattern like this, which is wonderful for foliage. I can put the ink down with an eyedropper, then I'll get areas of color, and then with a bamboo skewer, I'll pull those to be the shapes that I want. And then I can dip the bamboo skewer in the ink and then draw with it. This is all on water. And meanwhile, the inks are spreading. Okay, they're spreading, but they're sinking at the same time. So I have a small window of opportunity. And then last of all, I lay my paper down very gently, and then it picks up the inks. Let it dry. And if after it's dry, if I want to add to it, it becomes a mixed media. So I can use pencil, I can use pastel, watercolor. So I call it all marble impressionism.
So it's Joseph Crone.
Hello.
We saw you a few months ago at Gallery 924 when you were part of the figurative show. And since then, now that you're here at Wugs, you've got some different style things than just the plain graphite on the frosted acetate. So what's this new work that you've been doing?
Well, I just have been kind of, I guess, perfecting the craft of using the frosted acetate with colored pencil. There's so many possibilities with this type of material I never knew of until recently. There are so many different thicknesses with the acetate. Like the ones that I'm using now, slightly thicker, and it's actually double-sided matte, so it could actually work on both sides. So what I've been doing now is using black on top, and if I needed to go back in and darken something up to an extreme contrast, I could actually flip the piece over and actually draw on the other side. And with that same technique, I could actually make it like a colorist photograph, you know. So I could do black on the top and then flip it over and actually do color on the other side, which actually, one of the larger pieces in there is how I utilize that situation. So, but yeah, that's mainly what I've been, trying to achieve, like more perfection. At the same time, try not to make it too photorealistic. I like to leave a little bit of element in there that looks like a drawing, and I feel like once you get up close enough, you could actually see that. But I like to leave a little bit of evidence in there that it is a drawing.
So you got some things that are a little more three-dimensional too.
Yes, I do.
Is there symbolism to that, or any reasons that you're doing that?
I guess, my family history, woodworking, all that kind of stuff. I've kind of dabbed my hands in every little area, printmaking, woodworking, just different kind of, areas of art that I've always enjoyed. And at one time, maybe try to just perfect that area alone. And recently, I just started, well actually it's probably a few years ago, I started combining all those elements together to see what I can, do. Like, for instance, the yellow wallpaper piece, that was one of the first kind of like, I wanted to say like interactive, realistic stage to kind of really push, the idea of like a altered realistic atmosphere, Am I going to keep going in that direction? Probably not at the moment. I mean, I've been kind of, at some point when I work on that stuff, I would kind of get distracted, so I'd almost lose, I guess, some of the just classical elements of the drawing alone that could be so strong by itself, but when I do add the drawing with those elements, it kind of, everything kind of, neutralized everything. So I'm going to just kind of stay away from that at the moment and just, go more into my drawing, which I've been doing the past couple years. But maybe one day you'll see some more, installation work. I don't know if I would possibly do more wallpaper, but I'm thinking, I have a couple ideas in my head. So.
Oh, wait, what were you doing to the bottom of that painting with the yellow wallpaper?
No, I mean, with a lot of that 3D elements, you know, everything is so, I'm such a perfectionist, but when it came down to the actual drywall part, that was probably the favorite moment of that whole piece, was actually just tearing up the bottom. It was just so, you know, it livened up the whole piece to me personally, just because some of that, you know, aggression or whatever, you know, that passion, just like tearing up that bottom part of the wallpaper.
So how'd you tear it up? What'd you tear it up with?
I took the backside of a hammer that you would use to, you know, loosen nails up, and just started like digging into it and like pulling, you know. I think I even injured myself, you know, doing it, but it was so much fun, you know, because all those hours spent and then going back in and just tearing it down, there's just something so like magical about that, you know.
Right.
Just like, you know, going in so many hours and then, you know, just walking away and tearing it down, you know, just something about that feeling. I did though, you know, because I have a nerdy kind of passion.